Hello, this is Silas here with Promise Tutorial how to make your own stencils. Here I'm showing you some stencils I have already made. I think that these really simple shapes are the best to start with, and you can see that the material I am using for it is quite firm plastic foil. It needs to be firm enough to hold a shape, so don't use those really thin plastic sleeves for paper that you use in the office. And here you can see the first design I draw. You can draw some shapes by yourself, or you can just look online and print some simple design you like. And this is the plastic foil I am using. You can see that it's also quite firm. And then you just put the plastic over your design, secure it with paper clip, and trace the design on the plastic. For that I am using CD pen. I think it works best when you draw on plastic foil. And now you just need a lot of patience and really sharp scissors with a fine tip, and you can start cutting out all those little pieces. I would also like to mention that I am sorry for not uploading video last week. I wasn't feeling well, so I needed to take a break. I really hope that it will soon get better again, and I will continue uploading one video every week. Before you start using your new stencil, don't forget to clean the excess of the pen, and for that I am using just wet baby wipe. And here you can see the first finished stencil, and you can see that I made little mistakes when I was drawing the design. Here when I'm showing you, there should be some gap between those first leaves and the main central stem, the same way I did it with those leaves on top. I didn't realize it before, but it's always better if you divide your design into smaller parts. If you don't, it will be harder to use your stencil because it may move a little bit. This is important especially if you use thin plastic. And now you can see that because the whole bottom part of the stencil is one piece, it's moving a little bit and it is not very stable when I'm applying paint over it, and I have to hold the bottom part a little bit so it won't smudge. And here is a little tip for you. If your result isn't perfect and you smudge color a little bit, you can just use clean brush with a little bit of water and wipe the excess paint off and clean all the lines while the paint is still wet. And I would also recommend to clean your stencil immediately after you use them. For that I am using again wet baby wipe. It's so easier to clean them while the paint is still wet, and your stencil will be as good as new. And here you can see how I adjusted my next design after I realized my mistake. I divided those long stems into two parts and also make sure that every leaf is separated from the stem. I will show you later how those stencils look when I cut them out. And here is another tip for you. For your stencil you can also use this plastic envelope. I just find this in my home and it's perfect. It's even more firm than the plastic I used for my first stencil in this video, but also not too much, because then it would be really hard to cut out all those little pieces. And here you can see some more designs I decided to create. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it is best to start with some simple shapes like hearts, stars, dots, and something like that. If you are wondering why I'm using two kinds of scissors, it's because the first one have especially fine tips, so I will first make little hole with them, and then I used my second scissors, which are much sharper, and with them I cut out the design. I had to do it this way because, as I mentioned before, this plastic foil is more firm than the first one. I will show you how I started to cutting out all the stencils, and after that I will use all my new stencils so you could see how the design looks on paper. And here you can see all my finished stencils, and it's time to test them. I must say that I am really happy with all of them, and I cannot wait to use them in some future project. And here I am applying acrylic paint using sponge dabber. When you are using this technique, it's really important to use some heavy body acrylic paint. If you use some brand which is more fluid, the paint will get under the stencil and your result won't be good. And this is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you find this tutorial helpful, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Have a nice day and see you in my next video. Bye!